Welcome to my soil blocking for beginners video. I'm a beginner and I don't know what I'm doing, but if you are intimidated by soil blocking, maybe this video will give you the encouragement to just give it a shot. Hoping that after this video, after shooting this and trying this out with you guys, that I will soon be very confident in my soil blocking skills. My name is Shelby. If you are new here, welcome. Let's get started. 3 parts worm castings, 1 part organic Perlite, 2 parts organic Coconut Coir bricks, 1 part garden soil. I've never done soil blocking. I'm trying out some new things this year. Soil blocking is just kind of a way to use less plastics, and it's really good for the plant because when they're in those little seed starting cells, sometimes the roots will just become root bound. They'll continue to circle and circle and circle. When they're in the soil blocks, they'll go out in a bunch of different ways, so you're actually creating a healthier plant start. For me, the big pain in using those seed starting cells is, first of all, you're filling them up one by one. You've got to worry about like literally shimmying the plant out of that little plastic container, not trying to damage the actual plant that has sprouted, not trying to damage any of those roots, and also trying to avoid cracking the plastic, which I mean happens all the time. When I was about 3 or 4 months postpartum, I had really heightened anxiety. I was going down a path of really obsessing over things that are non-toxic and eliminating toxic things from my life. Plastics, toxic cookware, all those different types of things really started to freak me out in a way that I had never been freaked out before. And I think a lot of that was having like severe postpartum anxiety, which was not fun, and I'm happy to say that I'm doing a lot better now. There was some positives that came out of going through that experience. Of course, we have eliminated a lot of things in our life, but it's really made me start to realize ways that I can reduce single-use plastics or just plastics from the beginning. There's nothing wrong with using plastics if you're going to be reusing them all the time. You know, these seed cells, you do reuse those a lot. There's no shame if that is the route that you're going. For me personally, seeing how much some of those would, like the actual cells would just break up and literally plastic would just disintegrate in different parts of my garden, I just had like a realization that I've got to do something different this time around. I do hope I do this right because I've never done it before and I really want it to work. The overall consistency we're going for is like brownie batter. So you want it to all stick together but not be like a mud pile, a little bit drier than mud. I'm just gonna add a little bit and then mix that initial bit and then just keep adding as I go. I'm gonna try for the first time like doing seed starts for my poppy flowers and other flowers, where in the past I pretty much do direct sow for flowers. I want to definitely make sure that we have some success with the poppy flowers. I don't have my mushroom compost in yet that we're going to be able to plant all these flowers in. So I'm mixing this together, and it is really wet right now, but it's still too dry. Once I let go of my hand, it's going to all kind of puff up and fall apart. I'm just using my hands because it's just the easiest way to do this, and I really don't care if my hands get all dirty. So we're definitely getting there to make sure everything's like really evenly mixed, like as if I was making a cake or something. You don't want a whole bunch of one ingredient on one side, another ingredient on the other side, then the cake will be all lumpy and not make sense. We're getting And now after squeezing it, it's starting to like kind of stay together a little bit more. Immediately, you don't really know how much is being absorbed. I think it takes a few minutes to really tell what the full effect is. I think we're getting close. All right, now we're getting a little bit better, I think. From what I see online, you're seeing like pools of water in certain areas, like just very light pools of water. I want to make sure this is all like very evenly mixed together. Because see, I've got like a whole bunch of perlite right here. And this really helps with the drainage, the perlite. Those roots are going to need some aeration, and it's going to really help with the root system. The worm castings, of course, provide excellent nutrients. It's an amazing medium for adding to like your garden starts. The coconut coir acts like peat moss, very similar to that. I've just read online to add to this nutrient wise, and then just some healthy garden soil. There's lots of recipes online. I'm not here to say this is the best recipe, but I have seen from multiple sources that these are good materials and ingredients to include in your soil blockers. Just maybe one more squirt with the water hose, and then I think we'll be there. I'll show you close up what it looks like. So it's just from like the hands, it's not like dripping water, but when you squeeze it, there is a good amount of water coming out. Those coconut coir, or the whatever they call it, the coconut, yeah, the coconut coir. That coconut coir absorbs a lot of water, and as you can see, when I let go, it like stays into a ball. What I purchased was the Ladbroke Genuine Soil Blocker. This is the Mini 4. I will definitely put a link in the description if you are interested. The reason why I went with Ladbroke instead of some of the more affordable options on Amazon, which it's not crazy expensive anyways, is because I read the reviews where I saw people said, I wish I would have invested in a better one in the first place, because the kind of like more knockoff brands can have some issues. And for me, in my mind, I'm going to have this for years and years to come, so that's why I invested in the Ladbroke one instead of some of the other options. There are smaller sizes and there are bigger sizes, but this is kind of like your in-between size. And it's as simple as just pushing in there, and some of people like push twice. I don't know, I don't have the finesse of it down yet. You push against, I want to try to push it against for you guys. You're supposed to push it against the wall. I think it's pretty packed. You want the soil to be really packed, and then like push it against the wall of like a plastic bin or a wheelbarrow, anything like that. Oh my goodness, it's so perfect. Do you guys see how cute and perfect these turned out? They're just like little perfect blocks of soil with a little hole right there for a seed. I love this. This is super cool. It is turning out much better than I anticipated. I thought it was gonna be like a little kind of crazy looking, and I will get better at this over time. Let's see. Another perfect row. I really like this size because it's more typical of what like a seed starting tray size would be. The really, really small ones, you are going to, what I guess this would be like, this would be a 2x2. The really small ones, the 1 inch by 1 inch, those you don't have as much time to figure out where you're going to be transplanting them later. I would think that you would use those smaller ones in the circumstance that you have like a nursery and you're trying to start like thousands of different plant starts. I have seen from another YouTuber on here where she said she has to do the really small ones just because of the sheer amount of seeds that she's starting. But if it was up to her, like if she didn't have to do that, she would pick this particular size. If you're just like a home gardener or somebody who gardens on a large scale but not like an overly large scale, I definitely think this size would be good for you. Doing 2 right here. Due to time restrictions, I am only going to be able to get some of my poppies started today. That's what I'm going to focus on. The whole thing just popped open. So I went ahead and I purchased some popsicle sticks, food grade popsicle sticks. I'll include a link if you're interested in these on in the description. The reason why I prefer to do popsicle sticks is, one, because it's really cheap and you get a lot. I think this might be like a 100 or 200 pack of popsicle sticks. They break down over time naturally. I only need a few weeks to know what is where in the garden, and typically by the time these start to break down and fade, it's not until the next season, and at that point it's okay if they just kind of start to become one with the soil. What won't become one with the soil is any of those like kind of plastic garden markers, which is okay. I would recommend, you know, using those over and over again. For me, I'm growing so many different varieties that I don't want to keep up with it year after year. I'd rather it just be something that is like biodegradable in the garden. Another really affordable option if you're looking for like a good way to mark where your seeds are. My mom has used rocks, kind of like bigger rocks that you might find around your property. Just get a Sharpie, write on it, and there you go. So I'm getting my poppies out. I'm gonna grow these first. The reason why I'm really concerned with getting the poppy flowers started first, because I've only got a limited amount of time typically when I'm doing anything like this. I've only got as much time as my kids are napping, basically. So I'm gonna start the poppy flowers first because the next few days and weeks is going to be really cold, and poppy flowers require a cold stratification. So they require at least 2 weeks of really cold temperatures, and they also require light to germinate as well. So if you cover them up with dirt and you're trying to sprout them in a season where it's not seasonably cold, then you're not going to have success with poppies. They require those 2 things to germinate. So it's very simple. You just put them on top of the soil and just wait. It's just a waiting game at that point. That's why I'm starting these ones today. I've got the hens and chickens poppy, the scarlet peony poppy, the rose and feathers poppy, and the black swan poppy. I'm going to start a whole poppy garden at the front of my garden as you walk through. These seeds are so tiny. I think they're as tiny as a tiny seed would ever get, and I'm going to feel so much better and less stressed out having these done and started, because it was like really bothering me thinking that I'm going to miss the window. I'm putting multiple seeds per little seed cell. It's always easier to thin them out later. I actually was able to fit 5 more in this actual seed starting tray. I didn't realize that more would fit, so it's perfect because I'm able to fit all varieties of poppies in here, and I'll just know that like wherever the stick is, that is where the poppies, like that particular variety behind it. Not that it really honestly even matters, because I'm gonna put them all out in no particular way in the garden. That was definitely not as intimidating as I was expecting it to be. I think just like having the proper materials is the biggest hurdle to get past with soil blocking, but once you got all that, you're pretty much good to go. The next video I will be starting all of my seeds for the spring season that need to be started ahead of time. Unfortunately, I did not have time to do that today, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you guys have any comments or any tips, tricks to make this whole process better, more streamlined, I would love to hear from you. Please drop a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. It goes a long way, and it really helps me out. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming videos, definitely be sure to hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you as a subscriber. I will see you guys next time. Bye.